All right, we're here for episode 3. I'm sitting here with my friend Desmond Wiggin. Um, we met in China as well through some mutual friends. You actually spent your time in China, I guess, a year before I got there. But while you were, I guess, I don't know what exactly were you doing there that time that
Yeah,
we met.
yeah. Nah, nah. I was a GTA with Fort Hays State. So I was doing the dual program of getting my MBA and then also doing some teacher assistant roles. But yeah, so I like always wanted to kind of go to China, so looked at it as a good opportunity to get out there. So was able to be out there for like about two years, do some traveling, do some studying, and then also just learning the culture. So it was cool that we were able to connect. I wish honestly we were there at the same time, even on like the sports side, because I
Yeah.
feel like, man, I used to dominate, and I just was like, man, I wish it was somebody else. And I heard you were really good too, so that would have been cool.
So I guess right now you're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the founder and I guess co-CEO or co-founder and CEO of Battery XChange. Um, Explain to everyone what it is that you do.
Yeah, totally. So, started Battery Exchange on the brink of leaving China, actually. And so, what we do is we pretty much built a platform, a rental platform that provides portable batteries for cell phone users and all types of devices. So, we have a model that's similar to like the scooters that you see throughout the city. In essence, you use our application, and that allows you to find our kiosk machines. And our kiosk machines could be at bars, restaurants. It could be at convention centers, universities, kind of wherever throughout a city. We like to focus on like hyperdense areas where there's like a lot of bars and a lot of restaurants in that area. And we allow individuals to pick up the portable batteries, external batteries. So they are like the bricks pretty much, but they come compatible with any device on the market. So they have cables for Apple, Android, literally any device on the market. And you plug that up to your phone, and then you pay to use it for, however long. And then now you have autonomy to keep it as long as you want. And then once you're finished, use the application again and find one of those kiosk machines. So it could have been the one that you took the battery from, or it could be like a total new one, and then you just drop it off to like any kiosk machine within a given area. So that's kind of what we built. And for us, it was just like we ran into that inconvenience way too many times of being out, with friends or just kind of out all day, and you're taking pictures, you're on your cell phone because we're super connected to it. And then we ran into the inconvenience one too many times, and was just like, you know what? Let's challenge the narrative of not having a convenient charger on the go, because a lot of us, like 80% of Americans, for example, don't even carry a spare charger with them when they leave. And then when they do, they just carry the ones that you got to kind of hover over an outlet. So we wanted to add something that individuals could get it when they want and then maneuver and not be, again, hovering around that outlet. So that's a little bit about Battery Exchange.
So did you stumble upon this in China? What sort of, out of all the things that you could have sort of, um, I guess, dived into, what, how did you sort of stumble upon this?
Well, I'm all about like building something where a lot of people like potentially have the problem. In essence, like we do see some models in the East, even in Europe, that actually worked. And so for us, we were just like, man, this hasn't penetrated the U.S. market yet, so that's a big market opportunity. And then just thinking about how, even on a personal level, how much we're connected to our cell phones, right? That's like what connects us to like, people and things that matter to us most. And then just kind of seeing how not only myself, but doing some surveying, we did some studies, kind of really looked into some like data analytical side, and just really saw the vast amount of numbers of like people just kind of running into this inconvenience. So it just made sense, honestly. The data said like, man, there's a huge market opportunity to, if you provide this solution, a lot of people may potentially use it. And then I also saw how big the sharing economy was in the East. And then like when I first came back to the US, that was one of the things that, it was starting to catch a wave, and like people were, doing the I mean Uber and like Lyft were already big, but they started sharing the scooters and just different things like that. And we were just like, yo, if people could understand that, they could potentially understand our model as well. And because, there's such an importance within the cell phone, it's just like, it just everything aligned with itself. So we just like, yo, let's try it. And we built an MVP, and then that just started getting a lot of traction. And then so we're, in a standpoint of building out our first application now, both on Android and Apple. So that's something that we're looking to launch within the next few weeks, really.
So I know that China definitely had a major impact on me and how, at least how I guess how I think about the world, but I guess in the context of business, it definitely gave me a lot of things to think about. What would you say, being in China for those 2 years and then coming back to America, what would you say are some of the key takeaways, whether they're good or bad, that you found in China?
Yeah, I think one of the bigger things was um, just really understanding how to like work with people. Like the thing that China taught me most was that it wasn't that things were wrong, it was just that they were different. So it allowed me to like look from a different lens, a different perspective. And even as I lead my team now, that's some of the things that I've taken to make sure I'm most effective, because just because I think one way, that might not be the best way to do it. And so, in essence, just being open to that, I think that's something that China challenged me to do. You just got to be open, you got to be open to so much things that isn't just the norm from where we come from. So that, I think just like openness to technology, I think like North America perspective on technology and some of the things that happen with data and security limits us and limits our advancement. And it's honestly things that are already happening. It's just like when you know about it, it's just like, oh, it makes it sound a lot worse. But a lot of like some of the things that we're scared about in America, I think are already happening with the bigger tech companies. So I feel like one thing that I learned from, China was they're less risk averse. Like they're willing to take risks because they know it's going to help advance. They're going to learn something from whatever it is. So I think those are like the top two things that I probably took away from like my experience there, especially working.
Yeah, I would echo that in some degrees. I still think that just one thing that I guess was really sort of a major takeaway for me was sort of this um, having to look at China in two different ways all the time. Because for me, the food and the people and all these sort of things were absolutely amazing. Getting to travel around and stuff, but also trying to make sure that um, you know the way that I look at it is to the best degree is accurate, and trying to figure out these are the things that I can take and these are the things that I may leave. I don't want to adapt. Are there any things that you would say that, hey, those are things that I wouldn't want to take from China and things to sort of stay away from? Or how did that sort of work out in your own life?
Yeah, I think like you don't adapt completely, or you don't take everything that you kind of have to do over there as far as behaviors and lifestyle. So I think that, I was just joking with like my in-laws yesterday about just some of the I guess things that we had to sacrifice on the cleanlier side that we were kind of used to here. So that's some of the things that I would never take, because I feel like hygiene and just different things like that. That's something that matters to me. And the level of attention in the East is just it's just not the same. So I think about like just humane things like that. And then I think about just what's important to me is giving everybody a voice. And I feel like there were some atmospheres where the hierarchical approach of just like whoever's at the top just has like we just go with whatever they think. Sometimes to a certain extent was something that I guess it doesn't fit with like my mentality. I wouldn't necessarily go there. But on another standpoint, like they call it like guanxi, and it's just like your network and stuff like that, and like you got to understand how things work in order to build that up. So it's just like I guess a gift and a curse in a sense. I think that's the ones that kind of come top of mind that I wouldn't kind of take. And then like I just feel like on a global level, I feel like we could do a lot better with what we do in the rural areas. I feel like I don't know if you did this, but I used to travel like, and whether it was like, the middle of nowhere outside of like Kaifeng or something like that, and it was just like, it was, the beaten path where like people never saw Americans, let alone like, African Americans at that. And so they were so far removed from like the advancement of like not only technology of just like lifestyles, that the way that they constructed their life was just like kind of backwards, and it's just like I feel like there's more opportunity to do stuff in those rural environments and like not forget about them because they are part of society too, and they need opportunities to grow and advance as well. So I think that's some of the things that I feel to a certain extent, you don't kind of have that, at least where I live, in like my environments. I'm not going to say that there aren't like country areas that people just do things backwards, but
Right.
I guess there's more of an acceptance here than there is, I feel like, there.
So in the midst of all this that is going on, you're building the app for Battery XChange. What do you sort of see the next 2 or 3 years, or maybe that's too far out, the next 2 or 3 months or 6 months? What does that sort of look like for you and the company?
Man, so I feel like, you hear the story, the narrative of all the companies that come out, kind of in a better state from a pandemic or from a recession. And I feel like we have a great opportunity to do that in the right way. I feel like like this has forced us to dig deeper into our business model and then dig deeper into our bigger vision, which has always been to like not only power devices but power people. So there's going to be a new level of attention to. I think I've been playing with like just mental strength, like just a healthy environment, and then just like obviously like so empowering or powering your mind, body, and like your phone, right? And so we're going to integrate some of those methodologies within the content that we have on social media, within some of our next iterations for our new kiosk machine, and then within our application as well. And I feel like that broadens the spectrum of who we can become like 5 years from now. I always look at the Amazons of the world and see how they started with like books and like what they are now, and I feel like we have an opportunity to walk that same trajectory. No, I'm not comparing myself to Jeff Bezos, but I'd love to be, I'd love to be on that level 10, 20 years from now. And I feel like this time has forced us to look at what that could be. So I'm really looking forward to some of the initiatives that we have around just like recharging the minds, recharging the bodies, and recharging the spirits of individuals through technology and through our platform. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, yeah, there was definitely a time where Jeff Bezos had to take the books to the mailbox himself for them to be sent
Yep.
out. So what exactly does it look like for you to power people in um, the line of work that you're in now?
I feel like it aligns with things that help me as an entrepreneur. I feel like you have to have a solid foundation here mentally. There has to be some like connection that allows you to grow, develop, force you to be better. And I think balance as well, just with the whole like life thing. And so some of the things that we want to do is being intentional to like just the mental health aspect of individuals, because like if this is not balanced, you can't be your most productive self. You can't like live life charged. Like that's what we say. It's just like live life charged is being at your optimal best, right? It's having all the tools, all the skill, whatever it is to be at your best. And in essence, if you don't have a foundation, if you're not intentional to that mental growth and that mental balance, then you're not going to be your best. And it's the same with your health. Whether it's like working out or just like going for a walk, I feel like we're going through a phase where a lot of people are being more intentional because there's nothing else to do. Like, you know what? Let me eat a little bit better because I got to cook. Let me walk every single day. Let me start running again. Like literally, I just bought some shoes to run again. I ran all the way through college, and I feel like that's affected me because that used to be my escape. And also like I used to be in like way better shape and health. And now I'm kind of going back to that. And I feel like what I'm seeing from society is where we can potentially go into a shift to where we're intentional on mind, body, and just kind of moving forward. So a lot of what we're going to be doing stems from a personal level and a personal growth and like what helps me, and then providing resources to like individuals within our audience to hear those same type of conversations. So that's some of the things that we do now. We have like virtual conversations. Like last week we had a finance one that was more so about the startup scene, entrepreneurs looking to raise capital throughout this time and what that landscape looked like, and then other opportunities to kind of leverage in a time like now, and then even in the future, right? And then next week we're having a conversation on more so of the mental health piece, where we're having therapists kind of come in and just kind of talk about things that they could be intentional on in order to not only grow throughout this time to form good habits, to be balanced, but also something that could matriculate over time, when this is all back to normal, whatever it is. And it's the same. We're going to do the same thing with the health side as well. So those are some of the things that we're going to do on a intentional level. And then a lot of our content is, so we have like Mental Mondays, we have Tech Tuesdays, we have Workout Wednesdays, where we're putting out content to help individuals think about how they could live life charge. Like if you do this, like you're kind of going into that direction to, again, be at your optimal self. And then I think another thing that's cool as well is we saw that the small business world had a huge opportunity just with like the loss of revenue. So we're going to bring an opportunity for individuals to kind of make that up through our platform, leveraging our services, and then also being able to highlight some of these small businesses, because a lot of them have to now go virtual. And one of the things that I'm learning is if you don't have an audience, you're really not reaching anybody. So we're giving them another platform to be able to expand their reach as well. So those are just some of the things that we're kind of doing internally.
That's that's pretty amazing. I like how you have like the whole, Workout Wednesday and what was the
Mental Mondays.
Mental Mondays and all. So where exactly do you find that for a Mental Monday? Like what is the foundation, or what exactly are you being intentional about when you say Mental Mondays or something? What exactly would that look like?
I think Mondays are important, right? Mondays are important to not only like the day, but the week. Like your Monday kind of determines your week sometimes. Like, man, if you don't start off correct, so whether that's positivity, that's empowerment, that's quotes, that's things that you can do throughout the day, whether it's like leveraging like a Calm app on the tech side. So it's curated around motivation, empowerment, and things that you could do to strengthen this up in order to have a more productive week, a more productive day. And so that's like a lot of the content. So a lot of that right now is on Instagram. That's kind of like our biggest platform that we leverage. We use a little bit of Twitter as well. And then some of those, again, are going to be within our platform. So that's in essence things that individuals will be able to kind of get throughout our application as well. So that's kind of like how it'll shape up.
Well, I want to sort of say that congratulations to everything that you're doing with Battery XChange, but also congratulations to what's coming to you in August with you and your wife I believe it's a son. If I'm
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. I've been saying this a lot. The legacy continues, man. It's the first of that like next generation. It's been a while since like anybody on my side of the family has had a child, so he's gonna be spoiled, none the least. But a lot of my I guess preparedness to be a dad came from like the buildup of like a pair, and it's just like getting this ready to, in essence, lead an individual, and shape an individual's life, and give him as much as I can. So again, a lot of it kind of goes through the business as well. And so it's important that I feel like, tech or not, that you as a founder, be, I guess you infuse the culture that you want, everybody else to exude. And so that's some of the things that I like walk and talk and live. But again, it all starts like up there, for real.
Yeah, man, I can definitely agree to that. Just being 5 months in the fatherhood game, and so yeah, I think one of my biggest things that um, one of my biggest things that I'm thinking about is when I see my son and he's all happy to see me. I'm trying to make sure that um, I do that same thing for my own family, and trying to honor them and everything, just because it means so much to me to see him happy to see me, that I know that it would mean the same to my family.
Right.
So you're right, just sort of passing on that same love and that same care and that same I guess mental preparedness. And so yeah, that's a great thing that you have coming for you. There's a great thing that you have coming for you in the business. I know that you'll continue to succeed, and continue to move forward. And as we go on, our relationship will grow, and it'll just be a great thing, man. But I'm glad to have you on here today to talk about China and Battery XChange and moving forward. So it's an honor, my friend.
Nah, man, likewise, bro. I appreciate the connection. I think there was always like some, good connection, even though we weren't in China at the same time, but we were able to meet and, have conversations. And then even with you being back in the States now, I definitely think we could continue to grow because you got it. You know what I'm saying? You definitely have a bright, mind on your shoulders, and you're headed into the right direction. So I try to be intentional in aligning with people that fit, where I'm trying to get to. So yeah, I appreciate you for allowing me to hop on here, man. It's
Yeah,
it's, it's all love.
man. Well, I'll talk to you. We'll talk after this.
All right.
All right, man. Talk to you.
Yeah.